So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our monthly pitch event, June. As usual, we have like 4 startups as a setup and 4 jury members to ask the questions to the startup founders. At the end of the event, we will have like voting from the audience, and jury member will do the voting. And the weightage will be like 50-50% from both of the side. And at the end of the event, we will announce the monthly favorite. Before we start, I would like to introduce about ourselves, who we are and what we do. So this is myself, like I'm Sagar Barwalia, Head of Venture Development at BlockRockET. BlockRockET is an early stage startup acceleration program and investment program. So we are based in Germany. Our offices are located in Frankfurt, Berlin, and Munich. So we are highly focused on German ecosystem. We focused on blockchain. So basically we are like a blockchain agnostic. What we do like seed investment into very early stage startup, valuation between 1 to 5 million euro. We handpick like 5 to 10 blockchain startup per year for individual seed investment of up to 250,000 euro in terms of ticket size. We also provide our startup for like advisory and mentorship for next 12 to 24 months. We also do like matchmaking and marketing for them. So we are always looking for next big thing in blockchain space. So if your friends or family working from their garage and looking for funding, please feel free to reach out to us or refer to us. This is kind of our ecosystem, what we achieved in last 2-3 years. So we receive like approximately 200 plus application per year. So don't forget that in Germany, like normal startup applications are like 500 because blockchain ecosystem is still like small as compared to the normal startup ecosystem. So we were investing like average ticket size up to like 150,000 euros so far. And we have like 250 plus partnership around like DACH region. We also are very well connected with Israel, Southeast Asia, and North and South American market as well as. We also have like 30 plus VCs in our ecosystem. So when our portfolio startup goes to the next round, they can already start connecting with them. We also organize every month like 2 to 3 events. So basically we organize like 25 plus events per year. So this is how we pick our investment. We have like some tranche it down in our application process. You can see that startup goes through like application, and then we organize like several interviews with them, and then at the end of the application phase, we reach out to the decision whether we'll invest into them or not. So these are like our portfolio startup. We already have like a six plus startup investment we did in last year, and we are still looking for like 5 to 10 new startup to invest by end of this year. Let's stay in touch. If, as I said earlier, if you or if your friends or family working from their garage and working on next big thing in blockchain space, then feel free to reach out to us. So let's start. Before we start, I would like to ask our jury members to introduce about themselves. So let's start with Wolfgang.
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm Wolfgang, a partner at Blockchain Founders Group. We're a company builder and a venture capital firm based in Liechtenstein. Focuses on early stage of startups with tickets up to 250,000. Personally, I've been in the venture capital and private equity space for over 20 years, and very glad to be on the jury today with Nadine, if she's there, I haven't seen her yet, Friedhelm and Debioti. And excited, obviously, to hear from our pitch candidates.
Yes. Thank you, Wolfgang. Alexandra Deepjyoti is also in the line. If you can make him co-host, please. So moving further, I would like to ask Friedhelm to introduce about yourself.
Yes, hello. I'm Friedhelm. Super happy to be here today in the jury. Really looking forward for some great pitches. I already flipped through the pitch decks, and I'm very curious to learn more. About 6-7 years ago, I founded Finsight, and a few years later, I founded Finsight Ventures, which is our company builder slash technological co-founder. That's how we see that. So we invest into technology companies in the seed phase, have a portfolio of 12 portfolio companies now. And yeah, as I said, I'm very curious or very interested in the blockchain space, and happy to learn more today.
Thank you, Freedom. Moving further, we have like the rest of the two jury member already joined. So I would like to ask Deep Jyoti. He's from German's accelerator, and also he's part of BSH Home Future Group and previously like Techstar. So please introduce about yourself.
Hi, thanks a lot, Sagar, for inviting me. I'm quite excited about what I'm going to hear today. So my background is I used to be a physicist, and my initial access to technology is through the area of quantum computing. So we invested as a part of Robert Bosch Venture Capital in a quantum computing company called IonQ. And I have a lot of footstep in the startup ecosystem because for my day-to-day job, what I do at BSH is that we onboard startup solutions and we basically buy the solution from the startup. So we become a fast-track customer for the startup. And investment is the other part. If the startup is very aligned to our strategic focus, we invest in them. Other than this, I'm an advisor and mentor for quite a lot of accelerators and incubators. German Accelerator is one of them. And I do a lot of advising also for Techstars and some other accelerator around the globe. Thanks.
Thank you, Deep Jyoti. Is Nadine is here? Alexandra?
Who is here?
Nadine, the last jury member.
I don't see him.
Okay, unfortunately, she might not join because she just got her vaccination. But moving further, let's start with the startup. So I would like to ask Sara Simeone from Digital Oracles. Please go ahead, Sara.
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. Let me try to share my screen. Okay. Can you see my pitch deck in full screen?
Yes, perfect. You can go.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone. Guten Morgen. My name is Sara Simeone. I'm a 40 years old Italian woman living in Manchester in UK and CEO of a blockchain company called Digital Oracles. So based on the information that I just provided, my chances of raising angel funds in the UK are less than 13% and less than 3% for VC funding. So why is this important? Because the reason why we created Digital Oracles is that it should be a bridge between we want to create a bridge between the early stage investors and the overlooked founders. But we know that the problems are not only on the entrepreneur side. Investors have got a very hard job as well. In fact, they have to actually invest in companies. Investing in early stage businesses carries a lot of risk. The scouting and selection process of startups is actually inefficient, is time consuming, and is led by gut feelings. And we know that over 90% of the investor deal flow actually comes from referrals, but only less than 3% of their pipeline gets funded. And this results basically in missed opportunities and a lot of wasted efforts. So that's why we created Digital Oracles. We want to bridge this relational gap between early stage investors and overlooked founders. And our platform incentivizes investors and startups to connect, to grow, and to build trust, creating real value beyond the financial investment. So how are we doing this? We're actually leveraging our virtual currency called Dotties. Dotty is basically part of our ecosystem, and we basically want to make sure that Dotty are going to connect a very fragmented investment landscape. So thanks to this, we're able to actually power our ecosystem, grow startups, enable investors to discover new opportunities on our platform and make meaningful connections. And these actions that I spoke before could be, for instance, discovering new opportunities, could be segmenting and selecting startups, could be developing connections, and of course, empowering the growth of startups, setting milestone-based rewards, and refer startups based on merit. So we hope really that we're able to create a more connected investment ecosystem. With regards to the market, I could be here and tell you that this is a huge market because, of course, I mean, we have over $300 billion invested in startups in 2019. We got a very healthy angel investment ecosystem in the UK. But actually, what I want to tell you is that we have discovered a blue ocean because we are not focusing on the invested companies, which are less than 3%. We want to focus on the 97% of companies who are dismissed opportunities by a lot of investors out there in the world. So in terms of our landscape, we don't talk in terms of competitors, we talk in terms of comparable landscape. We actually see us as a provider of tech to a lot of the key players in the investment space, such as investors, such as crowdfunding platforms, such as accelerators and incubators. So we know that we have actually created a platform that automates the startup growing and monitoring support, a little bit like, you know, the startup, the YC Combinator startup. But then on the other side, we've also created, you know, this environment where investors and startups can get to know each other and build these, you know, pre-investment referrals and introductions, a little bit similar to LinkedIn. So we are basically seeing ourselves as this very nice connector specialized in the investment space, providing tools to the whole investment ecosystem. And of course, I mean, we see a lot of opportunities later down the line in the investment world, and we will keep developing new features and new gamification features so that our investors can actually use our platform at its best. In terms of go-to-market and where we are now, we've actually launched on the mainnet. We are active already with a few partners. We closed partnerships with the like of Crypto Valley Association. We are onboarding their startups and their investors. We actually closed also another big accelerator in Italy called Untitled, who is actually our lead investor as well. We also spoke, of course, to BLOCKROCKET, to our partners, and we are really planning to actually provide tools to the accelerators so that they can track the growth of the startups on their cohort and beyond their cohort. And of course, I mean, we are talking also to other accelerators. For instance, here in Manchester, we got Host, and they want us to actually provide tools to them to identify and segment startups in their deal flow and beyond. So in terms of how we're going to make money, for sure is the sales of Dotti that is going to power our platform, revenue share models with key partners, and of course, I mean, in the future, we're going to explore tokens. Right now, we are not listed on any exchanges. So in terms of traction, we've actually already hit our year one. So we already have a V1 platform on the blockchain. We're going to add more and more gamification features. And then in the future, we're going to think, you know, study a little bit more the DeFi part of our platform. In terms of achievements, in the past actually 15 months, now 18, I've managed to actually raise £150,000 in grant funding, totally equity free from the company. It's a mix of development grants from universities and blockchain grants from Block.One and Polygon-Matic. And of course, I mean, some government funds that are helping us to actually support our growth. For UK-based investors, we got EIS granted advance issuance, and we're currently raising £350,000. We have already almost filled the round. We're planning to finish the round by the end of the month, of 15th of July, the latest. But what I would like from the investors today, on board today, it would be great if you could subscribe to digitalaracles.com and try our platform and start onboarding your deal flow to the platform and really help us to actually see how we can really change the investment ecosystem. With regards to the team, I'm the CEO and co-founder. I've got Russell Machan based in Riyadh in Saudi, and I've got Sebastiano Cataudo, one of Italy's leading blockchain developers. Our team has got a lot of experience working with both startups and international corporate companies across different countries, across different sectors, and we got focus on new emerging technologies. So thank you so much today for listening to me, and I hope I'm on time, Sagar. And you know, it's been a pleasure to actually talk to you.
Thank you, Sara. You finished it pretty well in time. No worries. So I would like to ask jury member if you have some questions for her.
Thanks a lot, Sara. If I'm a VC or if I'm a CVC, how can exactly I use you? Can you iterate that part once more, please?
Of course. I mean, first of all, I'd be happy to actually schedule a demo with you, a one-to-one demo with everyone on the call who would like to reach out to me. The second thing is you would subscribe to the platform. So register your profile. And then as soon as you register, actually, we're going to give you some free dotties. For investors, we're giving 50 dotties. And that should be more than enough for you to start onboarding your pipeline. When you register, you're going to find a referral URL that you can share with your own with the startups that are already in your deal flow, or with new startups, for instance. Once you've done that, you will see all the startups lining up into your dashboard, and you will be able to either pass on an opportunity or to follow that specific opportunity. If you pass, we know that that is a big pain point of a lot of investors. We are going to send an email to the startup saying, we are sorry this time you didn't make it, but don't worry because you're going to be on the platform and other investors will be able to notice you. If instead you follow the startup, it will be moved to another section of the platform where you will be able to actually follow their progress over time. When the startup hits a specific growth milestone, then you will be able to actually start talking to them. But before you do that, of course, we have created a lot of gamification features. So for instance, if you want to know a little bit more about the startup, you will be able to spend a few dotties to download their pitch deck or to actually unlock their contact details. And of course, I mean, and also give a feedback because perhaps you don't want to talk to startups directly and you don't want to talk to everyone. So this is a very easy way for investors to actually streamline, cut time, cut costs.
Sarah, it's Wolfgang here. Thanks for a very passionate presentation. I'm always in favor of bringing together promising startups and investors. The question that I would have is, I have the feeling that there are quite a large number of networks trying to bring these together. What exactly is your inside angle? What is your magic recipe that allows startups and investors coming together more easily?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. So one thing that we have done is over 2 years of research and development before we started developing the platform. And we gathered a lot of feedback from both investors and startups. We know that one of the let's say the worst part of being a startup founder is that it's a very lonely job. And especially when you are at very early stages, you really need some support. So we have actually created a methodology that is not only, for instance, rating the company and giving them a stage of growth, but we're also supporting them by giving them bespoke goals and tasks that they can click and tick as they grow. So that is almost like, a support to any accelerator out there, which would actually, could use our methodology as well and could let the startup grow after the cohort is finished. And that is something that a lot of our competitors, potential competitors, don't have. Not only that, from an investor point of view, we have actually created a way where we want to foster referrals. And so far, there are not platforms out there that are doing this. It's all about building that relationship before you're actually going to invest in a company, and building a relationship that is not based on personal connections, that is actually based on performance. And that is why we are focused on creating really a platform that strips down a lot of personal details from the platform and enables the investors to actually only select the startups based on merit. So this, I think, is one of, two of our key strengths. And of course, the gamification part, because there are at the moment, it's, we have not been able to find anything similar to us in terms of gamifying all of these mechanics that are leading to, creating more relationships.
Okay, thanks.
Sarah, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm an entrepreneur by heart myself, so everything that is basically facilitating the entrepreneurial space and creating more striving companies is something that I, of course, fully support. I would also like to stress the last point that you mentioned, which is negative selection, right? So for me as an investor, more deal flow necessarily does not mean more opportunities. In the first step, more deal flow means more costs, right? Because I need to filter more, I need to select more. So for us personally, for example, referrals is quite a strong gatekeeper, right? Because once somebody is referred to us from a trustworthy source, it's something that is actually has a good signaling effect and is avoiding negative selection. What you do to really specifically take care of this quality problem?
Absolutely. So one feature that we actually implemented, it was actually about giving signals about referrals. So you can actually follow startups. And when you start following startups, the more startups, the more investors are following a specific startup, that is a very big signal for investors that there is something going on. And in order to follow a startup, you have to stake some dotties. So it means that you as an investor, you're already making an investment into your own pipeline. It's a commitment really. So that is already should give you as an investor already a sign of, okay, someone else really believes in this. And as a second step, we have actually done something very, very clever, I think. So basically, when you are going to actually check the number of referrals, you will be able to click on that number. And if you want to see who else is actually like or follow that specific startup, you will be able to use your dotties to unlock the names of the investors. Now, this is great feature because we know that co-investment could be a great way for a lot of startups to start raising funding. So, that was like at the core. So these are the two things that we have done in order to ensure that there is like, more, let's say, organic way to, create referrals.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Freedom, and thank you, jury members. Moving further, Sara, you can stop sharing your screen now. I would like to ask André to start sharing his screen and go ahead. So we have like André, founder of Digital Asset Technology AG.
Yes, hello and good morning from my side. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. You can go ahead, André.
Great. Yeah, good morning to everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and thank you very much to BlockRocket for this opportunity. I like to share with you my new venture, which is very new. We just started a couple of months ago, and we basically try to oops, sorry, one too fast. We try to bridge the last mile between traditional accounting and decentralized finance. And I think you have maybe heard, if you followed the BlockRocket sessions the last few months, there has been a lot of DeFi projects, new security tokens, or any other projects that try to build something in this space. And so we see something which is increased a lot, and I like to guide you through to a certain problem, and for that purpose, I'd like you to meet Bob. Bob is, oops, I'm sorry. Bob is an accountant, and he basically just took on a new client. And this new client actually said he works a little bit on crypto, and he has a few accounting steps that he needs to be settled as well. Little did Bob know, he said, oh, no problem. He charged him a little bit more money for it and took this on board. Now, after a few days of research, he actually got quite confused because he saw that there's a lot more to it than just, doing some accounting. With hundreds of blockchains, thousands of tokens, hundreds of DeFi projects, terms like mining, staking, farming, and whatnot, he didn't really know how this all can be combined because he only needed the accounting data, right? After a week or so, he actually got really upset because he spent already way a lot more time in order to gather just the transaction data, just the market data that he even can start his accounting. And that's where we come in. So we basically try to make the life of an accountant and anybody who has to deal with reporting specifically for crypto assets and digital assets much easier. We're building this secure, privacy-preserving, blockchain-agnostic reporting dashboard. And basically within a few clicks, you actually get your reports and you don't have to do anything. The entire system is doing this for you. And I like to give you a little bit of an overview how this looks like. This is maybe a lot to take in, but let's focus for a second on the left side of the screen. So in the center, you basically see the core of our system. We actually host our own blockchain nodes, and that is increasing over time that we will actually have all blockchain nodes that are out there in our own Swiss data center. Then we gather all the market data, crypto exchange data, broker data that we connect to, so that we have all the pricing features and everything. We connect to all the DeFi protocols to have a clear understanding about all the smart contracts, all the financial possibilities, and anything they offer. Plus, we also enrich this data with accounting specific and finance specific information. And out of that comes our API. So we basically have an API as a service. That is our backbone system that we then force in the center to our 3 products. And basically it's only 2 products, because the first one is a white label solution for B2B clients. The second one is the end user version, which are very similar. However, they have a few features less and a little bit structuring, because obviously a B2B solution like an accountant might has other needs. And then obviously our enterprise solution, where we basically just feed the data as an API to the enterprise company, specifically banks, fintech, exchanges, everything that might need some data like that. As you can see on the right side, this customer segmentation is pretty big. There's many different groups that do need reporting in this space. And I think I'd like to emphasize here the most important part. There is a lot of compliance and regulations in tax and AML coming out in the next 1 or 2 years that everybody has to comply with, so reporting becomes quite essential. What are we doing different, or where do we save, where we improve life? We save obviously a lot of time, which means cost, and I'm the best example. We paid thousands and thousands of francs in the past years for our crypto accounting, and today it's pretty much nothing, because with my tool I can actually create the reporting so that the accountant just has to do his accountant job. Privacy is very important to us. We built a tool specifically for the B2C market where we don't gather any data. We have seen this multiple times, that hacks came out, cybersecurity problems, and we believe that we don't need to know who is asking for what data in the specific space. So we make sure that we don't collect any information of our clients. We have obviously strong security measurements and many, many features in our system that would just take too long now to talk about. I don't have to tell this. I know the slide is always, everybody brings this. This is a massive growing market. We have just surpassed $3 trillion market cap in the crypto space. There's a lot of stuff happening in the privacy preserving space. People get more wary about it and find it more important to actually protect their privacy. And there's a lot of regulations coming. Our business case, so we basically will introduce a license model. We will have a B2B and a B2C model, where we basically charge the accountant per mandate, or depending on the version of our application that you use. We have a freemium version, and we will have also several different versions based on transaction amounts that you might need. We have a few competitors on the B2B side, not so much, to be fair, and even there, they are not direct competitors. As we focus on delivering data direct to software companies, we maybe also have the possibility to export CSV files and import them into other accounting systems. We actually work on direct implementation with the accounting software solutions so that there is a direct synchronization possible. On the tech sector, as a couple of established players, they also start moving into the B2B sector, but it's not very strong. And on the B2C sector, we have a lot more, of course. They are trying to offer the tax reporting at the end of the year, but we only have found really one that actually also cares about privacy. We're looking for funding, so if you're interested and want to talk about it, so we're trying to close our first seed round by Q3 this year. And that's was my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Andre. Do you remember if you have some questions?
Thanks, Andre. It's Wolfgang here. One question. What makes, you didn't say anything about the team behind this. Could you elaborate a bit why you are uniquely qualified to tackle this issue?
Very good question. Yes, the slide I figured that was missing. Thank you, Wolfgang. So I have been in this space since about 2011, building multiple projects already. The last one, we have built hundreds of applications for big companies. We have built the first crypto banks, backbones. We have built really multiple systems in multiple industries and helped many startups actually with their solutions to come on board. So we have a lot of experience in building. And that's where we come from. I come also from a very long background in building technology on the enterprise level for multi-international companies. Our team currently, we have 5 developers, including 1 designer, and we have 3 people there around taxation and legal purposes, where we're just building the setup. So we have a very strong focus working since many years in the blockchain industry, and building solutions like that.
And who is your salesman? Is that you, or?
At the moment, unfortunately, we have not put any sales in. So as I have a massive network built over the years, I have it, let's say it's not so difficult for me to get into big companies. I can call them up because I have some contacts. But it's at some point we will have to have sales.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Andre, my question is basically to continue the sales part of it, that whom are you at present selling to? So who are your customers and why exactly they are using you in context of USP, that specific company for say, if you can answer the.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. So at the moment, we're targeting the B2B sector mostly. So that means we actually talk to exchanges, crypto exchanges. We even talk to traditional exchanges that are going into the crypto space, because compliance is with fintech companies very important. We currently, I can't show you any set deals, but we hope to close in a few weeks the first POCs also with big or large accounting companies. They specifically have that issue that they have such a strong client base with crypto assets behind them that they can't handle anymore manually. You will be surprised that 9 out of 10 companies actually doing this still with an Excel sheet. And we talk here about big accounting companies. So we work with them to offer a solution that makes their life absolutely easy, streamline it, and obviously create reports that are also compliant for them. And yeah, target group is accounting companies at the moment, larger ones, exchanges, banks, and fintech.
Thank you, Andre. Okay, we still have time for one more question. Freedom, if you would like to ask, please go ahead.
Yeah, just a very, very quick one, Andre. So thank you very much. I think the use case is very clear to me from a B2C perspective. I would be a bit worried about quite some strong competition, right? So I think these crypto dashboards is something that I've been seeing for quite some time now. Also, some very quite a good funding. What I'm honestly speaking a bit skeptical, and it's a bit going into the direction of my other jury co-jury members, is the sales and marketing process, right? Because on the one side you're saying you're targeting B2C, on the other side you're targeting B2B. From my experience, that's quite a stretch, and the sales processes are very much different, right? So for you mentioned 70 to 400 something euros per year, you need to have some sort of rather performance marketing approach to get a lot of people on the platform. On the other end, for the B2B sales, you really need hands-on salespeople. I think it's not sufficient time for really answering these questions in detail. I would be curious to learn more, so maybe we can get in touch after the meeting. But that was something that I, as an investor, I'm looking at very skeptical. So it's not a question, it's more like a question for later.
Thanks very much, Viton. Much appreciated. I can go in more details. Obviously, the time constraint doesn't, give me the possibility to show all the angles. There's more to it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, jury members. Thank you, Andre. you can stop sharing now your screen. Then moving further, I would like to ask Manuel from Afridom. Please start sharing your screen and you can go ahead. Manuel, you are mute. Manuel, you are mute. Hello, can you hear me? You are mute.
Okay, cool.
Now please share your screen.
Okay, so how is it now? Perfect?
Yes, perfect. Yes, you can
cool.
go ahead.
Hello, everyone, again. My name is Manuel. I'm founder of Afridom, the first Afro-European crypto bank. The problem is that Africans pay, both here in the diaspora and on the continent, pay some of the highest money transfer fees. And African currencies are also among the most unstable and value-losing currencies worldwide. When you combine this situation, this creates a problem that robs Africans across the board of billions of dollars per year and actually pushes many on the continent into poverty over time due to high rampant inflation. And this is why fundamentally we are building Afridom to provide a secure multi-currency wallet to enable Afridom users to buy, sell, send, and receive, as well as to invest in crypto assets and in precious metal-backed stable coins that Afridom will issue. This will enable them to protect their savings and grow them, as well as to make instant money transfers. Well, what makes us different is the fact that we are the first Afro-European crypto bank. Besides providing Afridom users with cryptocurrencies, we will make available also precious metals-backed stable coins, thereby broadening and diversifying the list of crypto assets in which they can invest. We have a partnership with MasterCard so that we can issue Afridom users with a card that enables them to choose how they're gonna get rewarded. For example, you can choose to be rewarded on your cash, have your cashback rewards both in Bitcoin, for example, or in a gold or silver stable coin. And last but definitely not least, because we are building Afridom as a bridge, as a crypto banking bridge to digitally connect Europe and Africa. Our team is made up of myself. I'm the CEO. My background is in entrepreneurship and Austrian economics. Katarina is my co-founder. She is the COO. And Felix is our CTO, and his background is in IT security and blockchain engineering. And there is an important fact to remember about our team is that we are a full representation of our target group, in the sense that I am African, Katarina is European, and Felix is Afro-European. So everyone is here. Our revenue is a transaction fee-based B2C revenue model. We are based in Germany. So we will initially start with the African diaspora across the European Economic Area and the UK. And then we're gonna bridge to Africa, one key country at a time in a regulated and compliant manner. In terms of traction and achievements, we have part agreements with MasterCard, as I mentioned, also with Rails Bank and Quantus Blockchain Technology. Our initial product, our MVP is developed. We have started our branding process and we completed the first milestone within branding, which, as you know, is brand strategy. And we are also already actively engaging and building a community around Afridom through social media, and our Instagram page so far has more than 300 followers already. We are asking for 350K in pre-seed round, and that's for product development mostly, and then marketing, branding, and company setup. And by supporting us, you will be making history with us together in propelling the first Afro-European crypto bank into the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. I would like to ask jury member if you have some question, please go ahead.
Thanks very much, Manuel. I'm sorry,
Yes.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Wolfgang. No worries.
Thanks very much, Manuel. I quite understand the huge issue of high remittance fees. It's a subject that I keep seeing in startup presentations. Now, the question that I would have is, why can't you just use a Coinbase or a Binance account to do this?
The fundamental problem that it's transferring. For example, if you use Coinbase or Binance, you will be, for example, you'll be transferring Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is still not an instant transfer. So what we do with stable coins, we will enable truly really instant money transfer, because the Bitcoin network has still a transaction time of 10 minutes. And on top of that, you're going to have other layers. So that is going to still create further delay. And the other fundamental reason why users will join Afridom is because our solutions and our branding and our marketing is built in a way that is designed to resonate with people of African descent, to connect with them, because we address their problems specifically. And me as a founder, I have personally experienced also the pain points that we are trying to resolve, so we can connect in a more personal and emotional level.
Okay.
Manuel, from the pitch, it seems like being an early mover is one of the advantage or USPs that you are projecting. What gives you the proof that actually that is an advantage, and you see that the advantage is transformed into some numbers which are tangible rather than a hypothesis?
We are early stage, but there are already numbers. Like I said, the community around us is building. There is great interest. We are getting great feedback. And another fundamental fact is that you may know that Africans headed by Nigeria actually have the highest cryptocurrency adoption rate in the world. And this is amazing news, because this basically means that Africans themselves are actively looking to escape from the ills of fiat currency system into and embracing the crypto, the future of money and finance, which is going to be crypto based. So, and that fact is a major also advantage for Afridom in moving early and providing those solutions, not only with crypto, but also with precious metals, stable coins.
Manuel, thanks for the presentation. I would also be curious to learn more about the market. I think you mentioned already some things, but in order to really look further, I think a deep understanding would be necessary. I think there's not sufficient time, but one question that you might be able to answer quicker is, have you looked into regulation? Because especially if you have like not only two countries, but in your case, two continents, with, I would suspect, very different regulation. How is that affecting you, and how are you basically taking care of that?
Right, that's a great question. The thing is, from our European side, since we are based in Europe and we're going to start in Europe, the regulatory environment is pretty much set. And we will work with a banking as a service provider. As I mentioned, there are many such companies out there, Rails Bank, Solaris Bank, and many others. These will enable us to cover the European side. And while we gain further footprint in the European side, we will be able to slowly and surely start to take the steps for a move into an African country. For example, we can choose to go with the countries in Africa that are more crypto friendly, and that starts with South Africa, Ghana, Kenya. And so the regulatory challenge is really more on the African side rather than on the European one. And for the African side, we still have time to let things mature, since we still need, we will start here in Europe.
Thanks.
Manuel, thank you, Fredan. Manuel, I would like to ask one question from our viewers, there's a Nicholas asked like, how do you compare to BitPesa?
I'm not very, I think BitPesa is a B2B blockchain based for lending. So we are quite different. We won't be doing B2B lending.
Thank you for your answer, Manuel. Now you can stop sharing your screen. Thank you for presentation. Moving further, I would like to ask Gokce from the CryptoIndexSeries. Please go ahead and start sharing your screen.
Hi, hello, Sagar. It's pleasure to be here.
Hello.
Right, hi, this is Gokce Phillips. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CryptoIndexSeries. As you know, crypto markets are growing really fast. There are more than 9,000 crypto assets, of which 2,200 are trading. There are more than 300 exchanges, and every day we observe more than 100 million trades. The problem is that there is just so much data out there. There is, and the characteristics of crypto assets vary extremely. There are mineable assets, collateralized assets, stable assets, DeFi assets, utility payment security tokens, and so on. And as a trader, you also need to be looking at milestones, technical indicators, past performances. And the data is coming from very many resources. So the news sources, white papers, social media, exchanges, and so on. So it certainly takes time and resource to collect, distribute, and manage all this data. And it doesn't end there. There is also the trading and monitoring aspect of it. So you need to be connecting to so many APIs, and you need to be looking at different positions and holdings as well, which also requires time and resource. So the finance professionals require standardized, analyzable, actionable data, indicators, trading and tracking tools to build the right trading strategies and to make the right decisions on time. And this is exactly where we come in. As CryptoIndexSeries, we provide crypto market professionals with institutional grade, AI-driven data analytics and trading tools to keep their focus on the right trading strategies and timely decisions. In terms of our architecture, we have a data and documentation layer where we are collecting a lot of data from very many sources. And then on top of that, we have our very own data analysis and interpretation layer. We have index universe indicators, news scoring, alerting, and so on. And we've also added a unified trading module so that the users can also connect to multiple exchanges and track their portfolios. Thus, we have two products. One is a CIS trader platform, and the other one is a CIS data feed, which is an API feed. Here's our some front-end screens from the CIS trader, which is live. I suggest you go ahead and check it out on CryptoIndexSeries.com. You can also try it for free for a limited time. So this product is already live out there. In terms of our business models, in fact, all of the products are based on subscription and a multi-level service. CIS traders specifically for professional traders, hedge funds, wealth managers, and so on. And data feed is for those customers who'd like to build in-house products. And finally, we are also integrating more and more exchanges. So we also see a revenue coming there from small to medium exchanges. In terms of the competitor landscape, we have competitors in the data provider domain, and we have competitors on the unified trading domain. But in terms of the end-to-end user journey and the depth of data, we seem to be offering a quite good product there. The executive team, myself and Richard Phillips, we're the co-founders. We both worked at Thomson Reuters for a good number of years, both in Geneva, London, Dubai offices. Hence, the inspiration of the product comes really from the fintech products of Thomson Reuters, we can say. We've received an R&D grant last year, and then we've been to several acceleration programs, including Pilot, Berkeley Accelerator Program, and now F10. We've, as I said, recently launched the CIS Trader, and we're looking to launch the CIS Data Feed in a month. And we're about to close our seed investment round, so a shout out for investors out there. And the go-to-market strategy. Recently, we've signed a contract with Refinitiv operating under the London Stock Exchange Group as a crypto data contributor, and we're in talks with Istanbul Stock Exchange. We're also in talks with a prime broker and a wallet marketplace to extend our offering to our customers. Similarly, we've signed a contract with a Singaporean firm as a sales partner, and we're looking to do that in Dubai as well. And obviously, crypto exchanges can have multiplier effects on us, so we're looking to partner crypto exchanges, and we're putting a lot of effort in direct sales as well. Potential exit channels, the market data providers, challenger banks, crypto exchanges, crypto data providers, they're all potential exit channels for us, because these big players know that they don't have the luxury to wait and sit around or form an in-house team to do what we've done. They rather prefer to acquire companies such as ours. And the final call, so CryptoIndexSeries is a technically sound, commercially attractive project. Here I'm inviting early investors to come and join us in the seed round. And also we're looking at asset managers and exchanges to become our partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gokce. Moving further, jury members, if you have some questions.
Maybe I start. Thank you very much. A very interesting presentation. When you presented, my first thought was this is like a Bloomberg for crypto, and I think that's exactly what you're building, right?
Exactly.
I think that can work. I found that very interesting. I think you are in touch also with the correct partners already.
Thank you.
So yeah, I can just say, I actually have no question, right? For me, it's quite clear. The model is quite clear. It's quite sharp. And I would just say, I wish you good luck on that journey.
Great.
I hope that the market grows sufficiently that this product is demanded.
Thank you, Friedhelm. Thank you very much.
We're building on Friedhelm's comment. Yes, absolutely. I think there's a big demand in the market for this. I just wonder, the Bloombergs and Reuters, and you've been with Reuters, so you know the company quite well. I mean, they must be working on a similar solution, or they are intending to buy one, obviously. So how many man days or woman days have you invested in this, in the building of the software so far?
Sure, that's a good question. So we've been working on this for good 2 years plus. And myself and the other co-founder were there full time for those 2 years. And then the team grew from 2 to 10 over those 2 years. So now we're a team of 10. But in terms of number of men months, you're probably looking at least 40 plus. Yeah. Well, let's say 24 months between us, and then so many more with the developers coming in. Good question. I'll calculate and come back on that.
And how do you finance that? You just bootstrapped it, basically, or?
Yes, initially we bootstrapped it, and then we received an R&D grant along the way. But clearly, especially right now, the product is out. So we specifically required a seed fund in order to do business development and sales.
Okay. And just, sorry, one last question. You talked about traction, the Istanbul Stock Exchange. Is there any monetary traction so far, or are these just sort of friendly starting projects?
Yeah, lots of friendly starting projects. In fact, I must say the regulations are an obstacle in some case because you know, we've been talking to so many investment banks, and they're so willing to go ahead and, you know, both purchase the API feed and utilize the monitor in parallel. But you know, regulations in certain jurisdictions wouldn't allow that yet. But the main jurisdictions are there. It's going to be a, you know, steep increase we see.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question which might be a bit strange one. In your journey, I see that you have been to few accelerators.
Yeah.
And what was exactly the purpose of that? What did you get? Is it funding as well, or what's the leverage of going to, let's say, 3 accelerator rather than 1?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, the first one was more around, we were still not sure about the business model, so it really guided us actually as to how to shape the business model. Now, the Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator gives us access to United States. If I want to hire someone there, or if I hire someone close to me and try to do business development in the US, it's a far away it's a far away continent for me. Whereas through Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator, I'm able to speak to American investors, American asset managers. So it's really, leveraging that kind of effort there. Similarly with F10 now, Switzerland is an ecosystem I've been watching for such a long time. I've been to some Crypto Valley conferences myself. And both Switzerland and Germany are really ahead in Europe. So I quite like to make sure that we do sales and business development in these, specifically the DACH countries, and F10 gives me that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Piotr.
Thank you, jury member. Thank you, Gokce, for presentation. We are just going through the polls. So audience, please vote your favorite startup. And for the jury members, I already share in the chat the Google Doc, where you can also evaluate each of the startup, and then we'll take like 50% of weightage, and we'll announce like the monthly favorite. In meanwhile, if anyone have question, you can ask any of the startup founders.
Maybe while we're waiting, one more question to Gokce. How do you pronounce your name? Sorry.
Gokce.
Gokce. Okay. Thanks. Do you have any insight on what the Bloombergs and Reuters are doing? I mean, you work there. You still have friends there, I assume. So
Exactly.
you must have some information.
Yes. So recently, Reuters has included top 50 crypto assets into their products. But there is no data analytics there. It's mainly showing the streaming data and graphics. On the Bloomberg, and they have a Bloomberg Galaxy Capital Index. So they've actually acquired an index company to show, a basket of currencies as an index. Bloomberg is, I know, very active. I know a gentleman in the US branch. They're looking at very closely, and they have also, but the main approach is really to acquire companies rather than building a lot of infrastructure inside, because let's be honest, really handling data is not an easy process. You have to be close to lots of different locations in order to minimize the delay to the exchanges. The cloud computing, in our case, there comes AI as well for the data analytics. So there's a diverse let's say qualifications required, and even let's say if they were to build a team of 10, 15, 20, 50 and build this in 6 months, in 6 months the market will be in completely different place, and maybe there's going to be other actors acquiring, because so Binance acquired CoinMarketCap. Recently, Coinbase said that they were looking to acquire Skew data provider. FTX acquired Blockfolio and a portfolio provider. So the trend is really acquiring smaller companies who's done the work for them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are unfortunately running out of time. Thank you, Gokce. And the results are already there. I think the clear winner is like CIS team, CryptoIndexSeries. So congratulations, CIS and team. And thank you all of the founders. Thank you for coming to our panel event and taking your time. I would also like to thank jury members And then we'll share more news about our upcoming events on LinkedIn and Twitter. So please follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Apart from that, thank you everyone and have a good day. Bye-bye.